Anyway, we have a fabulous guest. Is it Lady Lily or Lily Lady?
Lily Lady.
Lily Lady.
One of my many aliases.
Wow. We'll have to hear about all the aliases. You're kind of an
Yeah.
it non-gendered girl, wouldn't you say?
I would say.
Well, girl is hard. Don't use girl.
I just said non-gendered girl, but
and you said
girl
it,
is a phrase.
which is very offensive. I don't like to be called it.
I'm glad we stuck the landing on this because after my publicist reached out, no response. And then you maybe saw that I had already reached out in the DMs.
Yeah.
And saying, you
you reached out to me at some point.
Yes. And
what'd you say to Robbie?
Different than what I said to you. A little bit different.
Did you say you're a hooker?
Yes, I did say that. I was like,
so a hooker by they, them.
Sure.
Not it, Rachel.
It girl. Do you have
girl
an issue
and
with
it?
it?
No.
Just said they, them.
0 issues.
You wish you were an it girl.
You know what? In many circles, I am.
I know a little bit of your biography, but
I know almost nothing. Will you tell us?
Writer, sex worker, newly filmmaker.
Yeah.
Cool.
They made a short that
feature.
Oh, it's a feature.
Yeah.
At
Fucking
the one
get
at
your
Slam
shit
Dance.
right.
Wait, the
They
one at
them
Slam
feature.
Dance. Well, did you ever see the movie Kids?
No.
This was a movie that a boy in my high school, JD Ortiz, shout out, I had a huge crush on him for years. Think he joined the military. But he said, I have to watch the movie Kids. And it's sort of a depiction of kids in New York. I think it's New York, right? In the 90s.
Yeah.
And according to your bylines or whatever, that the feature has been called a queer comp for for kids. What's the guy who made it?
I haven't heard that, but that's high praise.
It's in your bio.
High praise.
Larry Clark.
Larry Clark.
I wanted to say Larry
Who's
David.
Larry Clark?
He made the movie Kids.
Him and Harmony Korine made it.
He made the movie Kids. You ever see the movie Honey Boy?
Yeah, I've seen that movie.
Such
I
a
love
good
Shia.
movie. I love Shia LaBeouf.
Resuscitate Shia.
Lucas Hedges is in that.
Lucas Hedges,
Friend of the pod,
fantastic.
but won't come on.
Oh, he
I
said
asked.
no?
Yeah.
How funny that Sue Bird follows me and then doesn't...
She's busy.
I don't even follow back.
Right.
So then I follow back to write for the pod. It's like, bitch, you followed me.
She's playing the long con. She definitely wants to come on here. I drove across the country last month and
From where to where?
New York to LA.
There you go.
I mean I don't drive, but I was in the car. And
You don't drive?
No.
Me neither.
Don't know how.
Where are you
You
from?
guys have
It's
so
New
much
York.
in you guys
You're
have
from
so
New
much
York?
in
Yeah,
common.
Where'd you
Beacon
go
High
to-
School, baby.
Stop.
Yeah.
Wait, you guys have so much in common.
Basketball shorts.
Literally.
Yeah.
What do you think of Rachel's leg hair right now?
It's really good. It looks incredible in this light.
Oh.
What do you think about Rachel? You think she's cute?
I knew this was going to
Well, I think Rachel should go where I went when I
Okay.
drove across the country. Knoxville, Tennessee.
My mom's from right
National-
outside of Knoxville.
Okay, so go visit. Well, she's not
She
there
grew
right
up
now.
there. No,
okay,
no,
we'll
no.
go visit some people
Gave her
that she grew
cancer.
up with and see the National Women's Basketball Hall of Fame.
You know what?
Robbie's yawning.
No,
Not interested.
by the way, I yawn a lot.
Not interested
We've
in
talked
women
about this.
playing
Nothing to do with
basketball.
anything. I live a life
Not
of
a-
fatigue. People know this
Not
about
a season
me.
pass holder for the Sparks.
Sure. I went
Okay,
to-
so Lily, do you go by a
So
stage
that's my
name?
bio.
What do you go by a stage name?
Lily Lady.
Yeah,
Lily Lady.
When I advertise, if I advertise on sites to seek clients, I use a different name.
Do you want to promote that, or you're not
Not
looking for
really.
new
Separate.
business?
No.
Okay, and you're not on Field. Are you on Field?
I'm not the dating app.
Is that what it is? I thought it was
It's a
sex
dating app where you can have sex as well.
It's kind of the whole thing of
Jared's
Field
on
is
it.
sex positive, kinky,
Yeah.
which I think is embarrassing. Personally, I feel
Say
very
more
sex
about
negative when
that.
I think about Field.
a sex negative sex
Yeah.
worker.
Well, it's like
That's the
poly
type
people
that
are
I am.
always ugly. You know what I mean? It's the
someone
same.
on poly
like,
person wants to come on the
you
pod.
never feel
good.
less horny when you're at a sex party.
I've
Yeah.
never been to a sex party except for in college. One of my first weeks, there was a naked party, and I said, "Do you mind if I keep my sports bra on?" And they said, "We don't really need you in the room."
Would you consider yourself a never nude?
Oh, these are new concepts.
You don't know about never nude? I nude
now
a lot.
know.
Actually, like I sleep nude, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can.
How often do you shower in the sports bra? Like
I've never showered
Oh
in
my
the
God.
sports bra, but if I'm going to the beach or a pool, I'm wearing sports bra and basketball shorts. I have yet to find a bathing suit that doesn't make me basically.
Bathing suits are so hard.
Yeah,
I'd
what do
rather
you
be
do?
naked.
They're horrible.
You wear like a long sleeve top. You dress like a surfer. You showed me
Well,
that picture.
Gabby
of
and
you on the boat.
Gabby and I went to the Body Blitz is my favorite spa. It's in Toronto. It's a female-only, woman-only spa, and I think they have the best water circuit. And I'm not somebody who gets a massage or whatever, but I like pools and I like.
What do you mean the best water circuit?
Like they have a huge. It's not like a pool. It's like a hot tub pool, but it's huge.
Why didn't you get a massage?
I just get ticklish.
I have something
Sometimes
to
I'm
say
not
about
ticklish,
massage.
but once I do get
Interesting.
ticklish, I can't get the tickle out. I'm like it's
Yeah.
over for an hour, and I feel terrible. But it's like if you make me ticklish, I cannot not
Even
be
when
ticklish.
they're going hard,
Well, then yeah, but if it starts ticklish,
then you're
Then
giggling.
do you know what I mean? You lose
Yeah.
it. So,
what is
but I can
wrong
help
with
you with a vintage bathing suit because honestly, the vintage men's bathing suits that I bought on eBay, amazing.
used.
Used, yeah,
I
but
don't love
very
that.
old used.
That sounds
30
disgusting.
years. No, after COVID, we learned if you leave an apple outside for 2 days, it's clean. So you can basically leave anything outside come 2 days and it's good. I now have so much less of that
I
paranoia.
hope they
of
put
clean-
that in then. They're like, I had chlamydia 30 years ago, but I left it in the
Yeah,
sun.
and you
so
can
it's
always
clean.
cut the mesh out.
Yeah. So anyway,
Ooh, what's your
Okay.
massage story?
well, mine is that
She gets a happy
around my
ending.
when they start to
Nice.
go around my legs, I want to. Sometimes I feel like I need to run away,
Yeah,
and I don't know what that
I
is.
feel
But then
so
I
bad
was
for the
thinking,
masseuse.
no, they like this. It's a texture thing. It's like when you exfoliate, they get to
No, they don't
exfoliate
like
their
these.
hands on the leg.
I know the
You're
kind of
giving them a
ladies.
service.
Right,
They're giving you
exactly.
a service. Yeah.
Lily lady. Well, you're on OnlyFans?
No.
Oh, how do you get your work then? Maybe I'm out of the loop.
So there are escorting sex. I started in sex work through ChatterBait, which is online.
They're always on. They're
Camming.
always popping up as ads on Pornhub. I'm clicking out as quick as I
they're
can.
saying they want you to come to live.
But people
ChatterBait.
use it.
Yeah, totally. This was before OnlyFans was even a site.
Mm-hmm.
And to be a cam model, you have to be really diligent. You have to really be on your game, promoting
Yeah.
and always online and having really innovative shows and having a niche. And I wasn't really good. I was a really bad cam performer. And so I got super bored of that and just started escorting and meeting people.
How did you just start escorting when you say something like
The
that?
first-
Say I wanted to get
And
to
how did
escort.
you know? Because I'm like, I hate my body too much. Maybe
but
that
she's
has
way
nothing to
hotter
do
than
with
you.
it.
It
I know,
has
but I'm
everything to
saying
do.
no. I'm asking like, was it something that you have confidence in, or did it just?
Yeah.
Well, I'm asking.
That's a good question.
Maybe
I was
it's
an
a stupid
undergrad.
question.
No, I think those are both good questions. I was an undergrad, and the site that I used was Seeking Arrangements.
Okay.
And I find now I would never go on that site.
Why?
It's changed a lot since then. Well, Seeking is kind of there are people that don't want to think of themselves as clients. They're like, I just want to help a girl through school, and which is really patronizing and paternalistic. And you know, there's a lot of kind of anti-hooker sentiment on Seeking that I find
Sure.
from the client side of things, where the best client is someone who recognizes that they're a client. They want to have a transactional experience. They're not deluded. I mean, they're deluding themselves to a certain degree that we all are in enacting a fantasy, but I think the clients on Seeking selects for this kind of idea of we're just going to have this quid pro quo, mutually exclusive luxury lifestyle where college girls can meet rich 50-plus-year-old men and kind of
You go on
Oldest guy
trips?
you ever took on as a client?
maybe in the 70s. Yeah.
What the
When I
fuck,
was a
Lily? What are you
teenager?
dealing with there? Give us everything.
When you were a teenager.
Probably when I was 19 or 20. So I was using Seeking for a while,
Yeah.
and then I stopped. I took a break. And when I was making the film, which is about a sex worker, I started working again and escorting. But I was mainly finding people through referrals for this other person that moved from New York to LA, and I was living in New York, so she gave me a lot of her client base, so I didn't have to advertise at all.
And would she be like, I like this guy. This guy's funny, or
she'd be like, okay, this person dress up like a ballerina every time you go see him. Whoa. Make sure that you tickle him here and there.
Hey, listen, you know what?
What's the issue?
I have so many problems. The whole thing I have a problem with. I'm very backwards.
Yes.
In many ways.
And you know that as a listener. So you know what
my
you're walking
whole
into,
thing
right?
is this. My whole thing is this. And this is what I was talking about with a couple other girls I met who do sex work. Like, I think sex work ought to be protected like any other work. I think just like the idea of anything that's happening must be protected. Abortion, whether you're legal or not, it's happening. That's when it needs to be legal. All this stuff, okay? It's happening, okay? I wonder if people, when you say, oh, the people really like it. They like doing it. I wonder why, like, heiresses never want to do it. If you're born with money.
Kim made a sex tape.
But but different. This is different than sex work. In a way. I understand that, but whatever.
Did
but
she release it on purpose? I forget. Or was it a huge issue?
They did. So then I'm just like, do you really have a passion for this work? Is it, like you said, transactional for the money, which I believe it must be? Or is it like...
So funny to ask a question and then say what you think right after.
Well, that's what I think.
Right.
But I want to know what you think.
I'm just calling it out. No, it's fun. No, it's just funny.
Well, I think I have a theory of labor that aligns with existing in kind of a gray economy where I don't think there is a work modality that I have a passion for. I don't believe in identifying with the way that I labor under capitalism. And so I find that the interpersonal relationships can be really fascinating. I like meeting people. I like understanding their lives. And I think that as a service provider, I can kind of bring levity and pleasure to people who are seeking that out. Do I have a passion for the work? I find that being an escort provides me a lot of leisure time. You asked me what I did yesterday. I was just hanging out. I'm living at I'm just
you
sitting.
are?
Yeah, I'm just
Wait,
sitting
how?
around.
Why? Someone's paying.
Yeah, of course. And
is your client there? You don't have to tell us.
Come by. Sauna Steam.
Literally, I'm gonna come.
You should. There since like April.
Stop. You live at
Yeah, come by. And so I have a lot of leisure time, and so I can really...
Yeah, you're not. This is a different life. You could never.
Do you think I could do it?
Yes.
Seriously.
By the way, I'm so anti-passion too,
Absolutely.
and I totally agree with you. And I don't like I think many people don't have it, and it's not. And I think like capitalist world, it's like we have to we sell ourselves to some extent, and it's not. I don't love that aspect of what I do at all. But then again, I also don't like not working for myself, working for somebody else, and they get the reap, so it's a thing. But then with you, it's like it really is such a big wear and tear business that you're in. Like you're using your body to the point of like it's your body. You know what I mean? So it's like I do worry in that line of work, like just the it's so hard on your whole person.
Well,
when you are working, it feels like, but I could be wrong. But also I have a lot more emotional, like me getting into sex work, like I have to pretend something, I just have dysphoria and all this stuff. So if you're just hot and free and whatever, you might not be working as hard as I would have to work to get into something like that.
That's interesting. Well, the wear and tear component, I can really only speak to my experience, and it's not a universal experience.
Yeah.
I find it's kind of in vogue. Sex work is the nomenclature du jour, like similar to when.
But it sounds like you were doing
waitress,
it before
server.
People were even really like. I feel like it's more recent that people are talking about it. That's not really what you're saying. But
well, I'm saying. I guess what I'm saying is that it's kind of like anything. linguistic shortcut. Sex work as a catch-all both obfuscates what the actual work, in my view, is, because it's so leading with the kind of corporeality of using your body for labor, when most of my clients, I mean, I've had a couple long-term clients that I've seen over the course of years, and a lot of the time that we spend together is non-sexual. It's companionship, and it's, you know.
How rich are these guys? What's the richest guy you've been with?
I mean, they're never gonna want for anything. They have millions of dollars. Yeah.
They have planes, this type of thing.
Have you been on a private plane?
I'm not interested in that. I'm a little scared of that.
Yeah. Which part of the private plane, like helicopter Kobe type thing, or kind of being whisked away?
Oh, I'm down to be whisked away. See what happens.
Yeah.
If it gets weird, it gets weird. But yeah, I'm a little nervous as a flyer. I've been traveling a lot.
I bet they can give you the Michael Jackson drug though, knock you out. Yeah.
Like, what is she? You're talking date rape.
flight.
Like, if imagine I said the comment you said. Imagine I said what you said.
I
would
wouldn't have an
annihilate
issue
me.
with it.
You were just suggesting her
I'm
be
not
date
saying
raped, literally on a
roofing for
plane.
sex.
As in-
I'm saying like make you comfortable.
Can you
to
imagine
fly.
all the double
comfortable.
standards that we face here? I would never wish this upon you. I don't condone her statements. She's out of line.
Propofol for the private jet is definitely
And look, if I said something wrong, I'm sorry.
No, I
don't think I
only
did.
right things, both of you.
What did you, when you wanted to come on to here, what were kinds of questions that you thought maybe we would ask or you wanted to talk about? Because we're so new in your area that I'd be curious to see what would you want to talk about, and then I can go and let my head go wild.
Well, I think dispelling generally some misbegotten or older stories of sex workers and escorts that
Like what kind of?
just, I think that it's, you know, people are really hustling because they have no other option and are often in extremely dangerous situations.
This actually is the number one option. If you can do it, it's a luxury to be able to do what you're doing. Like, we are not born so fortunate.
I do feel that way with some caveats for sure, but I am like,
yeah.
I guess I'm curious, like what your work history has been. Like, were there jobs you had before that, or like how did you get into it?
Totally. Well, I agree. It's a luxury to have leisure time.
Yeah.
And that's the goal, you know, so that my mind can wander and I can, you know, write poetry and make films.
Well, it's a luxury in the same way somebody is born with the voice of an angel and gets to be Adele. Like, it is a gift that you look and get to be easily sexual. You know, you don't have any hang-ups, it seems, sexually or any of that stuff. So that type of freedom.
That I have no hang-up sexually?
Yeah.
Oh, I think everyone's got a little something
Okay,
on
but
the edges.
there's hang-ups, and then there's, you know,
a
a 70-year-old guy. Like, you know,
let's go. It's all
your
good.
breadth of hang-up is
it's
much
a wide
wider.
range. There's just a couple things in the margins, but overall.
Do you do girls? Are you with girls?
Yes. I mean, they're
probably such pigs, these dykes.
They're not really
Say
clients.
more on that.
I've only ever been hired by couples, and that's the only time I've interacted under some kind of transaction with a woman.
Okay. And
women aren't out here paying for sex because we're paying for tampons. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we
Just
are
an
paying
idea.
for tampons.
I bought pads yesterday, $40.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
And Rachel's going, yeah, I could in some way. You know what? If we did a competition, who could get a trick? Me and you, we stand
You
different
should do
corners.
that.
We do different corners. Okay,
I don't know
bet
if
you
people are
I get a
doing
trick.
corners anymore.
Whatever it is, you set up the parameters. Okay, who can get the best trick, the most amount of money for the hour? I guarantee I'm walking in like I'm at the Bellagio.
And I'm telling you
next
right
to you.
now, well, I wonder, I feel like you'd never take off your clothes.
I would take off everything.
Oh, really? I think people would pay you to verbally
here for the
assault
trick.
them.
Yeah, you could be a pro dom.
See?
Just step on some balls and tie
Step on, see, they
someone.
like these boots.
They would.
I had a lot of guys DM me. They like masculine
People would be
girls.
licking those boots.
See? Give it a kiss.
So I grew up in New York.
Where in New York?
In Lower Manhattan and then Williamsburg.
Are you rich?
That's nice.
So my parents worked at Playboy when they were. That's how they met. They were both on staff at Playboy,
So you're
when it
kind
was
of
in
nepo.
Chicago. Well, nepo, I would say nepo without the financial perks because I think I'm gonna come back in the next life as a trust fund baby. I'm putting that out into the universe. My parents were, they were doing a bunch of blow and partying and in
Studio 54 type of stuff.
Yeah, and they had me and my brother late.
Is your brother in sex
And
work? Does
my
everybody in
brother
the
does
family?
not speak to me.
Oh,
because
why?
I'm in sex work.
You're kidding.
Yeah. And
Do your parents talk to you?
Yeah, I have a
Okay.
really good relationship with them. They're chillers. But so I grew up
Brother,
in New
what
York.
is he, a Republican?
Can you let her
A little
talk?
bit.
Look at
Sorry.
this amount of interrupting.
I'm sorry. I'm seeing you more as a conversation. I'm having a
Yeah, for
conversation
sure.
for some reason.
I would like to hear her speak.
I know. I would too. And them, by the way.
But
Robbie.
also we definitely
them.
overlapped in New York. We can get to that.
I'm curious about
I'm
that.
sure.
But okay, go on. Sorry.
But so yeah, I was bopping around New York as a kid. My parents were both doing pretty well, but freelance work is so feast or famine. So that was when publishing was still, you would get a good advance and you would live off of that for a year. And then I think when I was maybe 14, my parents had some financial precarity and I really saw them struggle. And, we were moving and there were just things that the financial anxiety was really present. And I was always working. I was always kind of had a hustle going, but just saw the life of the freelancer and really didn't want that. I wanted to totally go the other way because I saw how destabilizing it could be to not know when the next check is coming in. So I went to school. For undergrad, I studied history. It was really serious in school. I was doing some escorting on the side, but mostly just kind of stuck to myself and studied. And then I went in 2020, I did my master's at UC Berkeley.
Cool.
In global studies.
Wow.
Because I wanted
My
to.
father went there.
Really?
I don't have a relationship, but
Bears.
my father went there his last normal years. Supposed to be very smart.
I mean, UC Berkeley is a great school.
Yeah.
I loved it. I had a really good experience.
In Oakland.
Yeah,
Right,
and I lived there.
Cool, in Berkeley.
In Berkeley. My bad.
Yeah, I love the Bay. And I thought I wanted to be a diplomat at the UN. So I wanted
But the
to
UN is
For
such a
any particular
disaster.
country.
Yeah.
And to be commuting, I mean, all the way over there, there's not even a train. You have to
Oslo.
walk
I
from the
know.
subway.
I know. It's true. You could maybe get a chic situation.
You thought you
in
wanted
Sutton,
a boring, ugly
Sutton
person
Place.
job, and then
I wanted
you
to wear
realize
a blazer.
I've been born with the lottery. God has touched me, and I can do whatever really the fuck I want.
But when did you start escorting?
I was doing it alongside my studies.
And you just found a way. Like,
yeah, how
I
did
guess
you
I'm
get your
curi-
first escort? Like, what's the first?
Well, through ChatterBait to
Right.
then Seeking Arrangements, and I
Right,
met
right,
up with
right.
someone. I did my undergrad in Western Massachusetts, and so I was just in the middle of nowhere.
Amherst.
Going exactly.
Did you
going
have
to
pepper
I almost
spray?
went to
college,
Amherst.
Hampshire.
Totally.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Did
That's
you
where I
have
was.
pepper spray, a knife?
No,
a
I had
hammer?
not a thought in my brain. I was just bumbling. I had no community of escorts. I didn't know what to charge, what to do. I just went to this Super 8 motel and
Jesus
met some
Christ.
stranger and just hope for the best.
But here's my question, not to make this a sticking point, but I'm like, how, because for me, if I'm like, I need a job, I'm going to the coffee shop, I'm like, I'll work back at house. You know what I mean? Like my first job. So I'm like, what was the jump for you to go into an industry that like wasn't.
You're not, because you're not thinking
I know, but
like her.
I'm wondering if that is, were you like, I know that I can
felt
do
like
this.
I felt that there was something intriguing about some kind of underbelly of, life. And I liked being a little secretive then and just having this somewhat secretive life. But I was also working other jobs. I was working at, the library at Hampshire College. And I was working at a bunch of restaurants. I worked for a long time during my last year of undergrad. I worked at a retirement home. So I was serving.
Any clients?
Were you fucking any of them?
God, I wish. That would be.
So you like old?
Get on
I
those
like
wheels.
old guys. I have a thing also for old guys.
I like old guys. You learn a lot.
Are they more polite, less polite? What's the mannerisms?
I mean, everyone's different. I think that that era of escorting before I went to Berkeley, I would say was very devoid of community. It was kind of unrelated to the kind of ethos around a holistic ethos around sex work that I would say I have now, which is also just a virtue of age. I was a lot younger. I didn't know that I'm in the driver's seat as the worker. I can say when things start, when things end. I was just a little bit more flying by the seat of my pants, I suppose. For lack of a better term. And then during the pandemic, I did an AmeriCorps year, and I wanted to.
Where?
It was at Met Council. It was domestic. So under Obama, he expanded AmeriCorps, and I thought this was a great way for me to start at an NGO. I want to work at the UN, even though it's kind of neoliberal institution of kind of colonialism. And so I started this AmeriCorps year. I had a year contract at Met Council during the pandemic where I was doing direct outreach to people who were food insecure in New York. And I thought it was going to be really great and kind of lead to the career moves that we were talking about, Blazer, 9 to 5, financial security. But I saw a lot of... I was really disillusioned by NGOs because the whole means to an end mentality just my contract was violated every single day. It was like the labor exploitation was unbelievable. And then it was all in the service of, well, you can't complain because it's in the service of this really virtuous
There's
cause.
scams. There's no charity in this country.
Totally.
There is no charity. You want charity? You take $10 out of your pocket. You give it directly to the homeless
Mutual
man with the
aid.
sign. That is the charity you are doing. Okay, these charities are bloated. And they operate like the government. They ultimately operate to serve the people that they employed in their fucking corporate bloat.
Yeah,
And
I
that
felt
is
more
what's going
violated
on.
by that job than I've felt in a lot of the situations I've been in as an escort. And
Would
physically
you say
violated.
that the AmeriCorps raped you? Would you qualify?
I'll go on record to say I would like some AmeriCorps reparations for what my violation.
Okay.
Wow.
But so I quit, and it wasn't terrible, but it just was really it was a really interesting thought experiment, just thinking about it and contextualizing it with relation to my trajectory. I tried to unionize AmeriCorps. It didn't go well. There's not a lot of incentive for labor organizing when people are on 1-year term contracts. There's not collective action. Just kind of, I think intentionally.
And then when did you wake up and go, I'm too hot for this shit?
Well,
When did you wake up and go, you know what? Life is not fair. Some people are born with the voice of an angel and get to be Adele.
You wish you were
And some-
Adele?
No, but imagine you're born Adele.
I know.
Well, then it was pandemic, and I was thinking about how everything is so arbitrary. These benchmarks we have for life, you get married, you do this, you do that. Everything is
I
upended.
noticed you're wearing a ring.
Yeah, I'm wearing a ring.
Are you married?
I am married. Also, my brother doesn't talk to me because I have a trans partner. And so I've got like double whammy on that guy right
Trans guy? Mm-hmm. Disgusting.
now. And
It's amazing, Robbie.
disgusting.
We're all
You
so
met
lucky.
him.
I'm kidding. I might microdose tea. I have an appointment with an endocrinologist. If I do it, I'm not
Really?
telling anyone.
Very hot.
Very interesting.
I don't know. I just want to see. You know what I want to check out?
What?
Let's check out my hormone levels.
Yeah.
First of all, if my T, I want to stay in the normal female range. If there's room for me to, let's say my T is lower than a regular female or whatever, I can't imagine, but maybe it is.
Yeah.
Then I have some wiggle room to within the normal female range that doesn't fuck up anything.
Yeah.
Long term. I have no interest to early onset menopause or anything like that. Take any years off my life. No offense to your
check it
husband or
out.
anything like that. But lifespan is not looking good on early menopause.
Interesting. Okay.
Unfortunately.
Sorry to hear that.
But we could be really still so new.
Would you
Okay,
do the
so
gel or shoot yourself
What?
up? Would you try the gel as a...
yeah, if you micro, I think it's just
Yeah.
gel. is
What does your
option.
partner
That'll be
do?
interesting. He works at...
Okay, when did you get married?
We got married on a road trip. It was really
Whoa.
sweet. We met, and I have the date that we met in December.
It's good that you
You
put
met
it there,
in
you know.
December?
Yeah.
And you're married.
We met in December because
You're
I
in
submitted
love.
that film to...
Is he hot?
You met him at Honey's.
I met him.
Yeah, remember? After the Wayne's World thing.
Oh my God. And you two are making out?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because you just got married.
Yeah. We're obsessed with each other. He's the best.
Oh my God. No, you guys are obsessed with each other. And I thought he was a gay guy. But then I was like, they're obsessed with each other. But then you guys were the same. You almost were like a gay girl. Like I was like, the two of them are
Our
just
wedding
fluid.
photo. We're in
They're
Vegas
really
at
fluid.
a chapel. We're wearing matching basketball shorts and Route 66 diner
Give us
t-shirts.
a photo. You guys are actually
And
the
so,
cutest.
it's
As
great.
the night wore on and I met you, I'm like,
It
I
looks
don't
like
know
a
what's
prison
going
photo.
on, actually.
It looks like we got married. I submitted my
he's
film.
really hot.
Super hot.
But he's very like, you know how EJ is very
He's
just
so hot.
comfortable being however the hell they are.
Oh my God. I'm obsessed with him. I can't even look at that photo.
What's his name again? Cute.
Yeah, super sweetie.
So you guys are married. Why married?
Well, it's kind of fun, you know.
Yeah.
It's like you have
Nice
your
show.
snacks, you have your shows, you know.
You have
it's
your
so fun.
snacks?
It's like a sleepover every night.
I
That's
know,
how
I
you
love
talk
it.
about
Summer
Gabby.
camp.
I know we love
Such
our
a blast.
sleepover.
We're gonna
I
do
want
this
to
road
double
trip.
date with you now.
Let's do it. We're gonna go from
Rachel's
New York
single, so can't.
to LA.
What did you say?
You're single, you can't.
Rachel, you should come.
Okay.
No,
We can
she's
all
not
hang
invited.
out.
She is not invited.
There's no issue.
She is not invited.
Whatever works. you
Robbie
know?
says colleagues. But yeah, so I had this vision on the way to New York when I was flying. I was flying to New York with a client, and me and were going to meet up in New York and then drive back to LA. And when I was on the plane, I thought, I just want to get married to I'm just having such a fun time. We should just do it. Like, why think about it?
How old is
1 year older than me.
Okay.
Cancer. I love cancers.
I don't know about that stuff.
Same.
Very compatible Leo Cancer.
What are
but-
you? Oh, you're Leo.
Yeah, August. And so I got this. I thought if we're at some gas station on the road, I'm just going to get a ring pop. If it's right, it's right. I'm gonna
I asked
get
Gabby to be my girlfriend with a ring pop.
It's hot. It's a move. It's a flex. You don't need to go to
So
Tiffany.
what happened? So you asked?
So I got
That is
the
gonna
I
make
got the
me
ring
flavor.
pop, sour cherry.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got the ring pop and I just held it in my bag because I knew that we were going to go the southern route. We were going to maybe go through
Wait,
Vegas
you proposed?
on the way
This
back.
is giving me dysphoria.
So then,
Ugh.
but then I said, I really hope we don't get pulled over on this road trip because I have something that it's in the glove compartment and it's locked. So let's hope we don't get pulled over. I was like,
Why
okay.
did he say that?
Sounds
Why
like
did he
a
give that
gun,
up?
by the
What's
way.
This is
he
a little
doing?
bit of edging, you know. We're just playing a little bit.
He can't hold a surprise. He's
I
too excited. He's
know.
somebody who gives the gift.
I know. So I
Like, you
kind
can't.
of, we both were edging each other. We both knew we were being really weird on the day that we were in Vegas. We were being super strange. And so then we wake up, we're like, I know you have a gift for me. I know I have a gift for you. Let's just give them at the same exact time. And so we did a little 3, 2, 1, and it was, you know, he had the Tiffany's box because he's a class act, and I had my ring pop, and I was like, you know, same.
So
Is
that's
he
a Tiffany's
rich?
band?
He's rich.
Yeah. Is he rich? I mean, you
Can
know,
I see the ring?
we're doing well. I think.
What do you mean? I mean, we're doing well. He's a. So
Got a
where does
hooker
it?
and a-
Yeah, no,
kind of
it's
later.
not where the money's coming from. So
Match made in
what's he
heaven.
doing? He comes from good parents.
No,
I hope so.
he's like really high up at.
Oh,
He's
really?
like
He
a
makes like
big
actual good
school.
money.
Yeah, I
'Cause
mean,
isn't it a
they're
week
like,
a year? How much could you make?
but you watches like 60 movies a week when it's really in
Oh,
programming
I thought it was
season.
very seasonal work.
Could he help us out or?
You don't have a movie.
Come on the double date.
Okay.
I'm sure.
You
I'm
don't have
invited.
you don't have a movie.
Yes, I do.
But so then we paid for 3-hour. Listen, Vegas knows what they're doing. We paid for 3-hour parking at the courthouse. We were out back on the road to LA. Like by that time, it expired like 2 hours later. We went to the courthouse. We did it really fast. We went to this chapel. It was so easy, so
was it
fun.
like Elvis Chapel or like a real chapel?
We went to Little White Chapel. They had a line, so we found this weird little
Now,
chapel.
what does marriage mean for you guys?
That's a great question. Well, I think it means let's just continue what we got going on.
But marriage.
Yeah, it's fun to think long term, and
And you live together.
we don't. I mean, I live at the hotel right now,
Right.
and then to the place in
But he comes
Glendale.
a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
And I like not cohabitating at
That's
this
what
very
I
moment
want.
in time. It's nice, you know. I'm a
No,
particular
something
sleeper.
I'm telling you right now. There's smoke.
Tell me.
There's smoke. That's what I'm saying.
You think you have to live with your partner? Like
If you're married, yeah.
I think we'll get there. I mean, right now it's
they
like
met, they haven't even been together a year.
It's
I
true.
think it's like, they're kind of going out of order.
Okay,
but it doesn't
how
matter.
does your work
Yeah,
life?
everything's out of order.
Yeah.
And that's
how's
what I
he-
realized in the pandemic. That was my big realization. I was like, there's no
How fascinating.
there's no linear
I agree.
trajectory for a life. And so let's just make a lot of money and have a lot of fun and see where it goes.
So you file jointly? Taxes. You don't know yet.
I don't know. My client does my taxes.
Did they
How
ever
is
get
it with your clients?
Yeah, I'm curious.
We went to a baseball game together.
The two clients.
With my one main client and Ash, we went to a baseball game together, and it was really fun. It was
This life sounds amazing. I can't.
But that's
lie.
why I say I can't speak to a universal experience,
Right.
because I really, and also the idea of sex work. I feel like I don't really work very much, and I feel like I don't really have that much sex for work.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm in a relatively unique position in that way, because I don't see a tremendous amount of people. I've done that before, and it's really stressed me out. And I've gotten super, it's a really good way to burn out. And I've gotten really paranoid about health things in the past that haven't been great for my mental health. And so right now, just seeing
like STI stuff.
yeah. Because when I was doing that, I was seeing people that were a little bit more anonymous or wanted to be, which I respect if you want to, protect your anonymity. And at the same time, it's kind of a leap of faith seeing someone in that way.
Yeah. So they wouldn't disclose. Like, would you be like, what's your...
I would say show me tests if we're going to have kind of intercourse.
Yeah.
But that's also like saying show me a COVID test a week ago,
Yeah, and also, are you using protection?
Always, but sometimes the client will say like I won't hire you if we use protection.
Yeah.
And or sometimes it's kind of a bargaining chip that comes up, and when I was in the mentality I'm just gonna see as many people and rack up as much cash as I can, sometimes things fall by the wayside in terms of safety. And I've been really lucky, and right now, I just know for me, I never want to see that many people. I want to have long-term relationships where we're kind of embedded and integrated in each other's lives in a way that I can say, I am married to this hot guy. Do you want to go to the baseball game all together? And it's all just one big jumble of weirdness.
What are there any... I mean, it sounds poly adjacent. I mean, I know it's not, but it's like you're maintaining multiple relationships, even though it's like
absolutely.
It's like different parameters around them. But
I think that's a good parallel, because it is affective labor, a lot of
Right.
the stuff that I'm doing.
What's
so
affective?
it just like kind of emotional. It's the labor of, to some degree the household, not necessarily erotic all the time. And
Right, 'cause
so
you come home, you might be tired, or which we all do. What is your capacity for sex with your partner? Is that very important to them? Is that important to you, or do you prefer non-sexual intimacy? Or
that's a great question.
What do you think?
the sex that I have in my personal life is so different, and always has been, from the sex that I have in working arrangements. And then also I had this client for a long time in New York, for years, that we never had sex once. And I made more money with him than I've ever made with another client in my entire life.
Was there any sexual, like explicitly sexual component?
There was, but there was never any penetration. There was never any, it was mostly, he had a really complicated childhood and had things in his life with his kids that maybe he was enacting with me that would kind of heal those wounds in a non-sexual way, and this is what it's like to have like my daughter over to watch a movie, something like that.
Oh, I see.
And so that was very emotionally laborious, and I would be exhausted when I would go home, and I would think I don't have the bandwidth to have a conversation right now. And so, but yeah, I mean, sex in my personal life is very different than sex that I would have with a client.
You know what? Gab and I are actually going through this because, I'm splurging. I'm buying these prosthetic dildos,
Love.
I'm talking 600 USD when I'm preparing to drop. Okay.
Wow.
Now I have
Incredible.
dropped this. It's this company in Hong Kong, and but now she wanted small, so we got it small. So, but now she wants bigger again. What what are you guys using? What is your favorite tool? If there is a tool, what is it? Let's drop a link.
Let's do it. I mean, I would say in my personal life, I've been historically service top. And so I'm like strapping on always, almost always.
No.
And no?
No.
It's giving Robbie. Robbie's having trouble, right?
I'm having a lot of trouble
Tell
with
me.
this.
Because why?
Sounding gay. I don't know.
What do you mean exactly?
I don't know. I like when the guy is doing that.
Right, you're not the typical guy. But don't you think
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
kind of an androgyny that allows for that?
No.
And by the way, it doesn't have to be.
No,
Anyway.
I don't think there's an androgyny that allows for that. So Ash is cool
I
with
don't
this.
really like anything inside me personally.
Same.
It's not really for me.
Right.
And so, I'd rather.
But with clients, you do that?
I do that.
Yeah.
It's not like the most fun ever.
Yeah. Maybe we have something wrong with us because you don't get a tremendous
I would
pleasure. I don't get that much
I've never
pleasure.
come
Yeah.
with anything inside of me. I can't imagine that.
And
it feels like a
it doesn't-
speculum.
Yeah, it doesn't feel
Do you
like
have
anything.
pain?
It feels like nothing. No, I don't
Yeah.
have pain, but I'm just like, this is not pleasurable experience. I'm kind of like,
Okay, so you know what? It might be something I have wrong with me.
I've thought that before. I've talked to my therapist about
Yeah.
it. I'm like,
But the clit is excellent.
what's up?
What a
Yes,
device.
There's no notes.
No. I wouldn't mind if it was a little bigger.
Sure.
It can be when you get on TV.
I know. So you're dealing with that. So is okay. You're rail to him.
So hot. And yeah, I mean, also no notes.
So what are you using to rail into him? What are your favorites?
all sorts of things. Like,
What do you
I
think?
like ones that are maybe not so true to life, but
Okay.
other ones,
We want one that goes up like this, like not like out,
Like curves up a bit.
like not a bit, like just is up.
having trouble.
Like you know how dudes can have a penis that's up here?
Yeah.
We
Why
want
do
it
you
to-
want that? So she can
Gabby
sit on
likes that.
top?
Gabby likes that. No, she just for anything she just likes when it's up here, when it's like up. Versus like if I'm wearing it, it's here. It's like what's it doing here?
yeah.
But what's it doing there as well?
Trust me, lots of times it's here in cis people.
No, I understand. Okay, I guess I haven't
It
thought
just
about
feels better when she's on top.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
But then this allows us to give her more of a feeling of her being on top when she's not on top. Because of the shape of the direction of it.
And you like it to be like real as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think all mine are like purple.
No, I hate pink
Purple
things.
and glittery.
Yeah.
Do you have the one for standing to pee?
No, but I
that
do.
one?
I have an SDP, but it's really a 3-in-1, so
You
it
ever
has
use
like an
it?
insert. I used it once,
public?
just at home.
You got to go real slow, or you're gonna have overflow.
What
I
is
don't
this
use
you're
it
talking
though.
about?
I don't use it. I know people who use it and they
Yeah.
get very comfortable using it and whatever. This
Can
is
you
not
tell
for
me,
me.
please?
It's STP, stand to pee device.
Right.
So
But what do you mean you have
people-
to go slow?
Mostly, I think stealth trans guys going to the urinal or whatever, it gives them like there's a hole at the end of it, and you pee through it like
Yeah.
a cup. Like
Oh, but if you go too fast, it'll splash back and make you kind of.
yeah. I don't think you have the flow for it. I picture you
mine-
have an elephant like flow.
Yeah, and I have to pee a lot.
I have to pee all the time.
It's a
Yeah.
huge issue.
Okay, so
It's
wait, do
getting
you
worse.
use an
in my
STP?
Yeah.
Did you ever do a lot of ketamine?
I've never done ketamine,
She
but
does it a
everyone's
lot.
That's what
trying
I'm
to get me
happy.
to
She's
do
very-
it.
Maybe don't.
Okay.
Do you use an STP?
No.
No.
But I'm saying that one is more true to life, and you can use that.
Oh
for,
yeah, no.
for fun.
But there's dildos that are really true to life.
yeah.
Really true to life. But the shape is not right, and I don't need them to be that true to life either.
Well, your Hong Kong
Okay, so
one.
and then are you going down on or are you doing that sort of thing? You're doing everything to is what I'm hearing.
I like to do everything. I like to tie him up and throw him down a set of stairs.
And so what is and he's down with this? He's
Yeah.
sub?
Yeah.
He's
Wow.
Or sub. Yeah.
Robbie takes issue with this.
It's
Aren't you
I
a
should
little
talk
bit
to
of
him.
a sub or no?
You should talk to him. Bring this up first point on the double date. Let's
Yeah,
get down to
this
business.
is
We'll
gonna
figure
come
it
up.
out.
So you're getting thrown down the stairs. I have a question about the integration into your life.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how do you? Does it feel like you're compartmentalizing your relationships with your clients, or like, what does integration look like
Hmm.
when there's like, many relationships are transactional
Totally.
in a non-work environment, so it's probably not.
Rachel
I don't
and
know.
I have a very transactional relationship.
It's true.
It's
There's
really
no
true.
question.
And someone's always getting thrown down the stairs in that one.
It's usually me.
Yeah, all your
Definitely me.
bruises. The light hair's just covering up all the bruises.
Yeah, exactly, Robbie. It's
Yeah,
makeup to protect your image.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
integration I try to be as honest as I possibly can be with my clients. And I find that just existing existing in relation to another is performative to some degree. I'm very solitary, I think, just dispositionally. And so I find that anytime I'm in proximity to a person, I'm somewhat performative, which I think the shadow side of that is feeling maybe alienation. But the superpower of that, I think, is that I can be somewhat of a shapeshifter and a chameleon and still have it feel authentic. And so with clients, I try to... I often share my art and my work with them, and which means, my real name and some of my poetry that is about being an escort. And then, I think that self-selects for people that are interested in a more integrated experience, or are interested in the arts, or are interested in being with someone that they know perhaps they're not going to have a kind of traditional escort experience with. So I try to integrate as much as possible within reason and still having boundaries.
Yeah, it's just like part of your life. Or it's like
Right.
somebody
Yeah.
with a small business who is very close to a few clients, or the hardware store by me. I consider them. So they've been so helpful with the house, and they give me tips and different things, and they'll lend me a ladder, and I don't have to buy it, and I come back with it, and stuff like that. So they are very close with their clients. They don't have many. It's a small town.
Yeah.
This type of vibe. So I could understand a small business kind of making relationships. They don't need
No
like
different
to have
than the hardware
every
store.
client. No, but literally
Yeah.
no different than the
No, for
hardware store. A
real.
great local hardware store in many ways, or maybe they have a
So
contractor
true.
who's always working on houses. And so he's the same guy who comes in and he's picking up plywood or whatever. No different, but
Yeah,
what's the
Hooker
most
hardware.
money you made a single trick?
Trick.
Is trick the
Well,
right?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Well,
See,
I
you're
think
PC and you
Sorry.
put it on other people who aren't.
I just haven't heard that in a long time. That's all.
Okay, we
I'm
can
wrong.
talk honestly.
I'm wrong. It's okay.
You
I'm
assume
wrong.
everybody who's they, them is also fitting this other agenda of not being able to talk at all. Meanwhile, you're offensive.
I don't think
Meanwhile,
that's
you're
true.
saying it, girl, everything.
Okay. Go on.
Well, I think that I'm always a little bit tentative to say a number because I
Right.
wouldn't want to affect the market.
Yeah.
If a client
good.
if someone were to listen to this and think that that's a high number, I think that every hooker should be paid $10,000 every single session.
Yeah.
And so, and with inflation,
I
let's
agree.
just double that every year. And so I've made, I would just say, I've made in one hour, let's say, enough to cover like 3 months of my life. So,
That's
and that's
amazing.
also, the ratio of time is kind of incalculable and so valuable in this line of work.
No, it's amazing. You are, I mean, you're quite lucky. I don't know, some sex workers probably aren't hot and aren't
Or
brilliant
just don't
and
have
smart.
access to certain markets.
Don't have
probably.
access, all of it, and they probably have to accept bad tricks and do a numbers game and more quantity than quality, and all of the ways that you run your business. It's a high quality business. It's not you're running a real small business. Are you incorporated? No.
I got lots of different
Okay, and
ways
let's say
to
your nails
hide
are
my
done.
money.
Are you the kind of person that you like to use your money for that you earn, or will somebody pay for that?
I've been
Do you like-
saving since as a kid, I had a big hustle dog sitting in my
Yeah.
building. I was living in one of these high-rise buildings, and there were just so many people, and who wouldn't trust a 12-year-old with their apartment and their dogs
Yeah.
and cats. And so I've been hustling and putting my money into savings accounts since I was 12.
Yeah.
And so I really don't spend my money like that. I try to just put it away.
But your
and
nails.
I
you
do.
know, 'cause-
These are CVS, $7.
No, but but I'm saying because many guys would want you to go get your nails done on their card or something
Yeah,
like that.
I
You
think
don't do that
also,
sort of
though-
thing. It's still for you. You know what I mean? Like I want to know, like if has any guy ever given you just a credit card? Keep on your
the
person.
one in my pocket.
Okay, so you have one. Keep on your person. You can just throw whatever you want
Yeah.
on this.
Wow.
Yes.
Should
But
we
I
go
have
Gucci?
to imagine that this is and maybe I'm wrong, but it's like a small niche of sex workers get to have this type
level
of treatment.
For sure. And absolutely. I'm super blessed. I also, am a white person. And so my relationship with that form of privilege is so different than and I can only speak to that experience.
Right.
But yes, I really try to save as much as possible because while I don't tend to think long term, I feel like money will just flow in my direction.
Oh, money is flowing.
And so I don't think too long term, but I do save with a diligence.
But you're relaxed.
Yeah, which is how it flows to me because
Right.
I'm not pressed about it.
Right.
And I don't, think about it too much other than just creating the space for it to come into my lap.
Wow. Okay. It's so interesting. And you meet people now through referrals.
Mostly, I'm not advertising. When I got to
Right.
LA, I put an ad up on this site that a lot of people use. It's you pay like $280 in Bitcoin, and you put it towards the site, creating an ad. The ad is up for 30 days. You make a Proton mail. People can email you, and you say your rates on the site. And I found that I was getting some hits on the site. But a lot of people just wanted to meet up at like 2 a.m. or wanted to meet that night. And that's just not really the way I'm moving right now. I want to kind of meet for coffee first and feel each other out. It's not kind of the speed that I'm going. And so I didn't find that to be super generative. So I'm not really I'm not advertising right now. Also, I mean, I'm kind of alternative on those sites. Like a lot of people look, like the porn stars or, and I do kind
You're
of
giving
lean
the
into
real
the
Gen Z
alternative.
experience.
Something like
do
that.
these people misgender you, or they like?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of. Also, when I was speaking about performativity, I find. I mean, I think Masha Gessen said my gender is who I am in relation to the other. So
Right.
it's
That's how I feel.
Yeah, in some ways it's like being in drag, and that's fun and also sexy. I feel like if I get dressed up in some kind of
RuPaul
drag.
always said, everybody's born and everything else is drag.
Totally.
And that is true too.
Do most clients you have prefer like femme, or is it like it depends?
Yeah, most clients prefer femme. I've had clients that seem super traditional, meat and potatoes, just kind of by the book. They want missionary for 5 to 7 minutes, 15 minutes of talking, 15 minutes of rubbing their back. And then when they see that I've like got something a little bit else going on, all of a sudden they're like, want to talk dirty and be like, oh, just like fuck my little clit, or, oh. So I think that part of me being a little bit more having less separation between all of my various lives sometimes can allow the client to explore and play and try things that they might not otherwise feel comfortable with.
Do you identify as monogamous? Is able to, or would that be a line, or how did you navigate those conversations?
I mean, I don't feel there's any fixed identity that I have in relation to partners or partnering. I think that how I feel about is that, when we're around each other, I never want to not be around each other. I don't feel that I've ever kind of been a jealous person. And insofar as sex, I feel pretty laissez-faire about any of my partners pursuing their pleasure outside of, what I can offer. I know that it's important for people to have all different types of sex with all different types of people. And so I would never want to stand in the way of someone that I love pursuing that just for
Why do you think that's important?
Well, because I think that it's important for someone to not feel hindered by their desires.
But you think all hindrance is bad? Is there something about discipline that can be productive or helpful?
I think that all hindrance is unnecessary when it's as arbitrary as just kind of a normative reasoning. I think discipline with regards to certain things can be super beneficial. I mean, I'm a sober person. I choose to live a very black and white life in that way. That's somewhat disciplined. But that it's moving from a place of just kind of knowing myself. And, I think if for example, wanted to have a kind of sexy time, and I'm in Paris with a client kind of bored in a hotel room, it's not gonna, I just think it's immaterial to our relationship.
You guys have an understanding. And so does he want to pursue things like that, or he doesn't?
We haven't really, since we've been together, we've been mostly in the same state. And so I think that where we're at right now is like we're just having a lot of fun together.
Yeah.
And he knows that my work is super separate.
I actually think you guys could be married for 50 years.
Okay, heard it here first.
I think so, probably, right?
Yeah. It'll be way more successful than any relationship Rachel's ever come near. There's no question.
Why you gotta bring me into it?
It's helpful to benchmark because if
For
you
who?
don't know. No, because it's like you can't tell how big something is unless it's next to something else. Relativity.
So you just want me to be?
I'm just showing what success and
what do you think is so inherent to me that I'm not gonna have a successful relationship? Hey guys, Rachel here. If you want we did a cliffhanger this episode. What do you think? There's another about 40 minutes on the Patreon where we kind of talk about more stuff. How fabulous. Please join patreon.com/toofarpod. Cheers.